Hello everyone and welcome back to episode 2 of our F198 Ultimate Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Bahrain Grand Prix, of course. If you missed out on the video that went live yesterday from Albert Park, Australia, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. But yeah, today we return to what I guess is technically the first ever Sakir Grand Prix, of course, out in Bahrain. We're currently P10 in the championship. McLaren had an absolutely dominant run through the opening round of the season there, so they've already got a 28-point lead over Stewart Grand Prix in P2 there. We're locked into battle probably with Minardi and Tyrrell over the course of this season, but fingers crossed we can try and score some points again this weekend. As always, it's probably going to be a race of attrition, so get yourself subscribed and let's head into qualifying. Well, I guess this also technically means Bahrain is hosting Formula One's first ever night race as well this weekend. I felt Bahrain was close enough that it could suit this series, but I had forgot, obviously, that it was hosted in the night. But yeah, we need to try and actually get a good qualifying lap under us this weekend. We were on pace for about P18, I think, last time out in Albert Park before I binned it, and of course, you know, we've hopefully now got a little bit more confidence under us as well. It's really difficult to try and get everything out of these cars, not only because they feel like you're driving on ice, but also actually the brakes are very good. You can brake a lot later than I'm really ever anticipating you're able to, so it's something to adjust to as well as we try and put the power down up the hill. How will we get on through the tricky 9 and 10? I'm sure, yeah, drivers happy they never had to deal with this back in the late 1990s as well there. But of course, yeah, Coulthard, Hakkinen obviously going to be duking out once again for pole position here, so it'll be interesting to see which of the McLarens will come out on top up the hill, though. This is going to be very difficult to try and put the power down as we make our way in towards Sector 3, though, already 3 seconds back behind Hakkinen. We just aren't used to these sorts of gaps in modern-day Formula 1. They're a little bit wide as we make our way out into the back straight, but track limits weren't really a thing back in the 90s and the early 2000s, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Put the power down out of the final corner, though. Where are we going to end up on the grid? I think it's P17 then. I don't think we can be too gutted with that. Well, there we go. Hakkinen taking pole by another 4/10 over DC there, but it's Michael Schumacher this time round that will line up P3 just behind him there, ahead of Eddie Irvine, his teammate. Any other big surprises? Doesn't look like it. Only 2/10 away from De La Rosa this weekend, but you can see the gap between Pedro and Johnny Herbert in front of him. 1.2 seconds. There really are 3 backmarker teams here. Let's get into it, though. Bahrain Grand Prix time.
We're here again then at a circuit famous for its stunning visuals and thrilling battles for glory. Who will take the spotlight in the Bahrain Grand Prix today? Formula One returns to the desert today on this exceptional 3.36 mile circuit. 15 corners provide plenty of overtaking opportunities. It could be a strategic race, this one, with Sakir notorious for eating up the rear tyres. Watch out for drivers managing their rubber at some point during the Grand Prix.
Well, here we are then, ready in the desert for the inaugural Bahrain Grand Prix. Yes, we got 29 laps ahead of us, and I think this time around, yeah, we are going to start this thing on the hard compound of tyres. But of course, we learnt in Australia just how much some of these races are probably going to be about just seeing the checkered flag. So fingers crossed we can do that this weekend here. Bahrain Grand Prix time then. I'm not expecting us to get a good start, but we do line up right behind our teammate. It's 5 red lights. There's the lights out, and away we go there. You can just see so much wheel spin in the initial phase there. So Marc Genet, Jos Verstappen immediately going to try to look past me on the run down in towards turn 1. Will we see drivers clean and tidy? Nope, there's a bit of carbon fibre being kicked up through the first corner. Shinji Nakano We'll try and have a look around both the outside of myself and Janae there. We'll get a run back on him as we make our way up the hill temporarily down into last place. There's Ricardo Rossit and our teammate there have a bit of a battle further up in front. So close to banging wheels there with Nakano. So we try and make our way down the hill there. But yes, someone up the road then we know has already picked up damage. So I think that's why we're starting to see already a little bit of Constantineering up. As down the inside of Nakano will go. Very careful not to run into the back of Janae again. As you can see, yeah, that's second, I believe. They are actually the Minardis, aren't they? The Fon Metal cars. I was saying Minardi last weekend, and it was actually Tyrrell's that I was on about. It was before I was born, in my defence. So, you know, have a little bit of mercy on me, if you will. There as oh, Nakano wanted to have a look back down the inside as we make our way up the hill. Not going to allow it though, as whoever it is has picked up damage. I think it might be a Sauber. Yeah, it's really slowing everyone down. It's Johnny Herbert then, so obviously collided with our teammate late on in the season opener in Albert Park. Really struggling here, as you can already see Jordan trying to look to the inside of him, but this just is making me very nervous as we make our way out of the final corner. There we go. So, there we go. Herbert into the pit lane then. So, we're up to, well, we're down to P18 by the end of lap 1 there. It's clearly lacking a little bit of straight line speed relative to some of the others around us. Down the inside, though, of Marc Genet at turn 1. Oh, got to be really careful with the wheel spin, though, as you can still see Barrichello again. Had a bit of a tough qualifying, battling it out with one of the Jordans, but we're back to where we started in 17th. Oh, we got tagged from behind there. That was Marc Genet just hitting the back of me, so I think everyone struggling on the brakes there. Somehow no damage in that. Yeah, Marc Genet clearly getting feisty. Oh, Ricardo Rossit there, big moment out of the final corner. Jos Verstappen wanted to look for it. Couldn't quite make it happen there, so we're going to get a nice double slipstream.
This lap, we can use DRS when you are within 1 second of the car ahead and in the DRS zone.
Oh no, what's happened down at turn 1? That is a complete roadblock. Well, I think it's actually going to be the Benetton that gets the best look at this there. You can just see a little bit of locking up by Jacques Villeneuve. And yeah, the Jordan on his outside there, just going to get stuck with no wheel down at turn 1. So yeah, heartbreak for them as cars now scrambling to try and avoid it all, but there has been, yeah, a big roadblock down at turn 1, and our first safety car of the year. We'll try and get around the outside of absolutely everybody then, and it looks like we're going to. Up into P9 we go of this GP as more and more drivers dropping to the wayside then. We've only lost 2 apparently, so I'm not sure how I made up that many places. David Coulthard then in for a very early pit stop in this GP, trying to use that safety car to his advantage there. It looks like most drivers are. We're going to be up then into P2 of this Grand Prix. So Jan Magnussen, who led, of course, who we had a battle with even last time out in Australia. We are now 1 and 2 in this Grand Prix with Schumacher and Hakkinen breathing down my neck. Oh, Jan Magnussen then leading the way as we make our way through the final corner to go racing once again here in Bahrain. He really hasn't given the safety car much room. But oh, we are all over the back of the Stewart Grand Prix car there, and Magnussen finally gets going once again. But I can't help but feel, look at that speed that Ferrari's got. Michael Schumacher immediately passed us, Hakkinen as well, as we make our way back down into turn 1. Oh, I don't care about fuel at the moment, engineer. Well, Fisichella having a look up or inside there, but Hakkinen's gone. Hakkinen has gone. At the top of the hill, he's collided with Jan Magnussen, hasn't he, of course? So we've suddenly had 2 more drivers out of the Grand Prix, and World Championship leader Mika Hakkinen is out of the Bahrain Grand Prix there. Giancarlo Fisichella up into P2, as we've got Irvine and Jean Alesi all over the back of me as well. But that is a very high-profile DNF from this Grand Prix. Schumacher already streaking off into the distance. Here goes Eddie Irvine down the inside of the final corner. I mean, there's no real point in us defending these at the moment. You can just see the way that Ferrari pulls off the corner. He's probably going to be doing in excess of 200 miles an hour back down to turn 1. We just aren't. Coulthard, though, up next behind us. He seems to have found a way around Alesi. And yeah, it'll be a matter of corners rather than laps. A little bit deep there down at the hairpin. Oh, sorry, turn 9, turn 10 even. I'm surely now David Coulthard. I mean, you look at that. He drops back slightly off the corner, and by the time we make it into the braking zone, he is alongside and past and up into P4 then. So he's got a big chance today to take over as championship leader if he can keep it clean and tidy. Here comes Jacques Villeneuve.
DRS is now online.
Yeah, Villeneuve there flying past me back down into turn 1. This time around, no contact between us either. Oh, Jean Lacey there just gets the car alongside me up the top of the hill. Might be able to find something around the outside. No, the Salbert says thank you very much. And well, if this was real life, we'd be out of the points by now. Well, Alex Wirtz then, we might actually have the pace to try and keep at bay. Johnny Herbert, however, yeah, no chance. That Salbert much too quick at this stage of the afternoon there. So Johnny Herbert back into P7 as the Benetton. Oh, he has a bit of a lock-up. Tries to look round my outside down at turn 1. Luckily, we'll slot back in then to P8. Rubens Barrichello as well in the final points-paying position early on this afternoon. But yeah, I think now we've let all the cars that are loads quicker than me by. So we've got to try and start getting our elbows out. Oh, this time round, Wirtz might make it a bit easier for himself then. No Johnny Herbert in the way. And yeah, there we go. The Benetton will fly back past me in towards that first corner. We seem to be able to match him on the brakes. But yeah, Rubens Barrichello now as well is in the final points-paying position. Shinji Nakano in P11 was on for points last weekend before he binned it, but here goes Rubens. Rookie driver of the day in Albert Park, Australia. Oh, you've just got to give the AI so much room. Well, as we approach on half distance then in this Grand Prix, I believe Johnny Herbert has peeled back into the pit lane, so we're into 9th place once again. But we're kind of just driving into no man's land at the moment.
You'll be on the softs.
We're going to be, trying to go a little bit further into the race and then moving over onto a softer compound. But, yeah, we're losing a few tenths of a second to Barrichello in front. We're gaining a few tenths of a second on Shinji Nakano behind. But still, just staying out of trouble is a challenge. There we go. Barrichello back into the pit lane then, as well as a handful of others. So I think David Coulthard is still taking time out of Michael Schumacher at the front of this field, as we'll re-emerge pretty much alongside Giancarlo Fisichella. Is there going to be some contact down at turn 1? Oh, we'll give him plenty of space. But yeah, it goes to show how much quicker those front runners are. In less than 10 laps, Fisichella's already made up a pit stop over me, and immediately he's going to be back down the inside up at turn 4. And we're back down into P7. Wirtz then into the pits, onto his set of medium tyres as well.
Give us the best in luck you can.
Team want us in at the end of this lap, but I think we're going to have Jacques Villeneuve to deal with before then. Oh, yeah, here goes Jacques down the inside. Well, we're looking to try and, I'm sure, score his first points of the season here. But running all the way down in P6. Into the pits, though, at the end of lap 16. Make sure we get the car slowed down nice and tidily. Oh, those brakes are so good. I was adamant there I broke too late, but they just work so well on this car. Nakano then will move up into P7. Johnny Herbert, I don't know what his strategy is today, but he's up now into P8. I believe they're on a set of softs, so he's definitely going to have to box again before this race is down and out. I think we're going to be ahead of Verstappen and maybe still... no, we shouldn't be ahead of Genet, will we?
Complete. See these tyres through to the end now.
Yeah, we're going to be a long way ahead of Marc Genet, so not too sure what's happened to him. But out in P13, setting De La Rosa then into the pit lane, so we're going to move back up a couple of spots. Are we going to be back inside the top 10? There's Shinji Nakano. Yes, we are. Back into 10th place then of this GP. But I don't think we're going to be able to beat out anyone else by the looks of it. Barrichello 8 seconds up the road. I guess the only person we still don't know about is Johnny Herbert. Well, it's not going to take us very long to find out what's going on with Johnny Herbert then. He's going to move back over onto a set of the medium compound tyres towards the end of this GP. We are going to be out ahead of him though, so we might have a bit of a fight on our hands late on in the day. What is going to be the gap to Johnny? I think he might have come out ahead of Nakano, so the gap 5 seconds. Well, into the closing stages then. We can see now Johnny Herbert has closed up to my gearbox once again. Like I said, I don't think we're going to be able to do much against the Sauber car. He's going to not look down the inside at the top of the hill there, so we have to try and rotate the car around, not having to give him space. But yeah, surely it's a question of when, not if, he gets around me. I believe, though, Marc Genet is actually having car problems a little bit... No, yeah, Marc Genet is having car problems a little bit further back. Because he's really dropped back towards the end of this race. So, I mean, yeah, as long as we don't do anything stupid, even if Herbert finds a way around me, we might be on for another top 10 here, as that is a horrible run out of turn 9. But still, Herbert not able to find a way through. No, there we go. You get up into about 5th gear, and suddenly the AI engage warp drive. Herbert up the inside, and he's going to brake check me for good measure. Not too sure what that was about. Genet back into the pit lane again then, so De La Rosa now into P11 here, so if someone else up the road had issues, Arrows could be on for another double points finish. Well, there we go. Michael Schumacher is going to take his first victory of the season then. Ferrari trade a hammer blow here to McLaren, and obviously after the controversy of the ending of 1997, Schumacher, I'm sure, would love to try and fight for a crown once again. Can he bring glory back to Ferrari this season? Only time will tell there. But yeah, second half of this race for us has been rather quiet, it must be said. But I'll be honest, I'm really happy with the pace that we've had today. You know, built up a lot of confidence in the car. Feel like I know now how to extract more pace out of it and where to find it on its limit as well there. So as we make our way around the final corner, I was a bit worried that the P10 in Albert Park might be our only points early on this campaign, but we are going to score points in back-to-back Grand Prix there. It's another point here in the very first F1 night race.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. So Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, they played the safety car to absolute perfection. There are so many factors to worry about once the race is neutralised. I mean, do you pit for fresh rubber? Do you have the space behind you? How much fuel can you save? If you answer all of those questions correctly, you'll have a good chance. And that's exactly what happened today.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, there we are then, Michael Schumacher and Ferrari. It was a 1-2 last time out for McLaren. Ferrari have absolutely dealt a hammer blow here, with David Coulthard only able to come through for P3 there. Eddie Irvine, a big defensive drive there to help his teammate out. And yeah, Ferrari finally get their championship charge up and running there. Jacques Villeneuve in P4 ahead of Fisichella and Alesi, with Wirtz, Barrichello, Herbert and ourselves there rounding out the top 10. Pedro De La Rosa as well didn't actually get lapped in the end. But yeah, Shinji Nakano, Jos Verstappen and Marc Genet certainly did there. Ricardo Rossi, a late race mechanical failure for him, but he was still able to out-finish, I guess, but not really. Mika Hakkinen there, Jan Magnussen, Hill, Schumacher, and Frentzen there. So Jordan's drivers, yeah, both again not seeing the checkered flag this weekend. But it does mean in the championship, DC now at the top of the table, 2 points clear of Eddie Irvine, with Hakkinen and Schumacher tied with 1 win apiece. Barrichello there, ever consistent, up in P5 ahead of Villeneuve, yeah, with his first points on the board. De La Rosa is down to 9th place there, but we're now tied with Johnny Herbert and Ricardo Rossi there down in P16. So yeah, Alex Wirtz, his first points of the year there, boost him up the order. We're still ahead of Jos Verstappen, Shinji Nakano, and both of those Jordans. And that means constructors-wise, 2 points in it between Mercedes and Ferrari there. Williams back into P3 ahead of Stewart, with Arrows now dropping down behind Sauber and Benetton as well. But I think we can certainly beat Minardi and Tyrrell this year. Jordan, if both their drivers can stop crashing, then maybe they'll be able to score some good points as well. But thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon when Formula 1 heads to Sepang. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to all of my YouTube members and my Patreon supporters for their continued donations to help my work. These things go much further than I think a lot of you ever realise and allow me to continue making content full-time here on YouTube. So if you want to support me from as little as £1 a month and be featured on all of these end clips, either click the join button next to the subscribe or head over to my Patreon. There's a link down in the description.